Hello, my name is Abraham Klein, and as you may know, if you followed this channel for a lengthy period of time, you may know that I've had a lot of health issues, and I've talked a lot about those health issues in the past. And I think I even did a video once where I showed you how to change in your cannula. It was only like 20-some seconds long, and just showed you how you basically what you do is you take the one cannula out. Get rid of it, because it's full of mucus and all sorts of stuff. Take the new one, you put the new one in, which is why it only lasted about 20 seconds. But yeah, this is a Trach, and this is what I have now. It's actually a different version. I don't know if they've updated them or if it's just a different model. Because it's with this one, as you can see, you take the cannula, and you take it out, and there's just nothing there. Whereas with this one, pull it out like you pull it out like that, and there's still a little thing there, so you can put the cap back on without having that issue. So anyway, yeah, this is the Trach, and I've mentioned about this before. I actually talked about it on one of my podcasts that I do, and this is a packaging thing here. And I talked about the balloon and how that if you inflate it, it inflates this balloon. And, and again, the Trach is something that just kind of goes in the throat. It just kind of goes into your throat, right where the, trachea is. And when you need to sleep with the oxygen on, they take the oxygen hose and they put it right up against it. And that's when you inflate the balloon, because otherwise oxygen can escape out of the mouth, and it can escape out of the nose, and that you're not getting all that direct oxygen. So they inflate the balloon, and so all the oxygen goes directly into your lungs. Now, when that happens, that also means you can't talk. So if you're on the ventilator, you can't talk, and that's why, and again, this is basic science right here, because when in order to talk, oxygen has to go from the lungs through the voice box and out your mouth. That's why they say if you can talk, you're still breathing. Now I understand you may have difficulty breathing, which is why it's much harder to say I'm having trouble breathing. It's like be more. I can't breathe. Be more specific. I'm having trouble breathing. I understand. So I understand why some people would say I can't breathe. I can't breathe. I mean, I did that myself when I was in the hospital, where I would say I can't breathe, even though if I'm talking, I can obviously breathe. But anyway, all that aside, so yeah, that's how a Trach works, and that's just a quick rundown of how it works. But today I want to show you how to suction a Trach. Now, a little bit of background with what I'm talking about when I say that is that ordinarily the thing is there's a foreign object in your lungs, and so because of that, sometimes mucus builds up, because when things go into your lungs, mucus builds up to try to keep it from harming the actual lungs. And so that's what happens. That's what happens when you get, a virus like pneumonia or anything like that. Anything that attacks the lungs, mucus is going to build up, and as a result, sometimes mucus can be very bad, because if it builds up too much, it can keep you from breathing, and then you can potentially, die and all that good stuff. But of course, mucus is important, because if not, stuff can just get in your lungs, and you could die from damaged lungs. So anyway, now it's better now, but when you first get a Trach, it's a lot more difficult, because it's a lot more mucus, because again, it's a foreign object in your throat, and your body's constantly trying to fight it away, and so that's a problem. And so what else ends up happening, aside from the fact that you already have weak lungs, because you need a Trach. If you need a Trach, that means you have very weak lungs, and so then you end up getting all this mucus and stuff on top of all that. So in order to combat that, because you have such weak lungs, you can't cough up the mucus, so you need a helper, and that's where suctioning comes in. Now, I've already opened up the case. Now, this is what it was sitting in, and inside it has the suction tube, the suction catheter, I guess you would call it, and the glove. Now, it comes with gloves, because obviously you're handling a tube with your hands, so you want to make sure you have some sort of sterile thing to do that. And so I'm going to put on this one. I can't really put on the glove with this hand. And so, yeah, that's what you do. You end up doing that. And there's other ones where you don't necessarily need gloves, but although, I mean, obviously, if you're in the hospital, they're going to wear gloves anyway. And it's kind of inside of like this little plastic tube, and so it's like there, and they shove it into your throat, and then they push the button, and then it goes, and it pulls all that mucus out of your throat. And I remember when I first got out of my coma, I was so weak that getting suctioned was so hard. It would zap me so hard that sometimes I would pass out from it. I would fall, like it would just take so much out of me. I would just fall right to sleep because of how weak I was. So anyway, all that aside, once I got home, they gave me this portable suction, and it's not like the ones in the hospital, which is why they have these. And in order to make it work, you have to cover this hole here, which then makes it possible for it to suck all the mucus out. So the way it works, you have your trach. This is you, and imagine this is this is in your throat, and then you take the catheter and you put it inside. You go inside the throat, and you go to probably about here, and usually your lungs will let you know, hey, this is going a bit far, because you'll feel a bit coughing. You're going to cough anyway, just because, well, you're suctioning, and it's not a pleasant feeling, to say the least. But then you push down on that, and then you pull the catheter out as it sucks it out, and you try to do it slowly, because if you just go like that, it's not just gonna pull all the, and it doesn't necessarily get it all at one time. Sometimes it'll do it, it'll get some out, and then you got to go back in and go back for more, and sometimes it might happen 2 or 3 times. Now I remember at one point, when I was in the hospital and they were doing this to me, it got so bad, because the thing is, this is a rubber tube going into your lungs, okay? So that would also potentially cause mucus to build up. But what it did was, because it was going into my throat so much, it was, touching my lungs. And as a result, at one point, when they were doing it, they would pull it out, and blood was going through the tube, and at that point they have to be very careful. They can't do it as often. There's only so many times they can do it. Obviously, if you're in desperate need of it, they have to do it, because otherwise you're choking, and you can die from that, or suffocate, or whatever the problem is. And so they have to do that in order to do it, but they have to do it moderately, and sometimes you just have to deal with just coughing and coughing and coughing, because again, if they're doing it so much that you're bleeding, that's never a good thing. So those are some of the what you might say downfalls, because again, you could end up having that tube in there. Again, a good thing it's sterile, obviously, because if it wasn't, then that would be very bad. But if it ends up going in there and causes an infection, that could be very bad, because then you get an infection in your lungs. You've already got mucus in your lungs, and just a bad situation all around. But I remember very specifically being in there, and them going, and just this red stream of blood going through the tube, and I was like, what's that? Thinking, what is that? And I couldn't really talk. I was like, and so not a fun situation for sure. But yeah, again, this is the trach, and you fill up that little balloon, and that keeps the airway from causing the air to come out of your mouth. And of course, showing you the proper disposal of these things. What I would end up doing is I would then I would take my other glove too, and we'd put it together like this, just crunch it up, put the other glove in this hand, and then we would take this glove, go like this, and there we go, ready for the garbage. And then we would throw it in the garbage, and life would be pleasant. So I hope this has been an informative video. I hope it's been entertaining at the same time, because as someone who's spent enough time in the hospital, you got to learn to entertain yourself, even with the crazy things that are the medical equipment. So these are a few of the things I still have from my days in the hospital. So again, I hope this has been informative. Gives you a little bit of perspective of what happens when a person deals with things like tracheostomies and having to suction because their lungs are still too weak, they can't cough it up and all that good stuff. And so I hope that's been helpful. Hope it's been entertaining. And if you like it, please like it. If you like it enough, and I'd like to see content like this more, or some of the other content you may see, check out some of the content on my channel. And you like it, please subscribe or share the video or do something. Comment. That's another good thing, I guess. Be nice though in the comments. Or don't. I mean, I guess this is the internet. I guess you're allowed to do whatever you want as long as big tech allows it. But anyway, this has been Abraham Klein, and I hope you have a great day.